Hi everybody, it's Ree from Lilly Pilly Patch. It has been a very long time since we've spoken and I've made a video. I always forget how busy the end of the year is. Working part-time, having a child and just getting ready for Christmas is absolutely crazy. And I can't wait to show you how crazy our garden has gone, and it's in need of a lot of maintenance because we've been letting the rain and the sun just take over. And now it's time for us to come in and really start to control and fix up what's gone maybe a little bit too crazy. Let me show you first of all our beautiful family members. They are now probably a month old. They get bigger every single day. And in fact, we've let our pool go back to a pond because we've loved having them here so much. And watching them duck and dive, duck and dive has been awesome. Mama Duck trusts us. We've helped her a few times when her babies have been a little bit stuck somewhere. And we just can't believe how big some of them are getting and how little some of them are. We did hatch all 10, and in the early days we've got 3 kind of go missing. We did have a big cat come into our garden, but we think we've managed to scare that cat off. And we've maintained 7 now for a good 2 weeks. So we're hoping they're big enough and strong enough that they're going to be able to look after themselves a little bit. Aren't they divine? And here's one of the best mummies in the world. She's done such a great job. It's been amazing watching them go from literally clinging to her, if not sitting on her, to now confident enough to be off in all different directions in the garden, being near the chickens, or finding bugs in the grass, or going into one of our other little ponds. And then with a few little calls, they all come running back to Mama. They even love to go on that little floating device. It's so cute. We could spend hours out here just watching them. Can't believe how lucky we are. Some people may look at our pool and think, what do you mean lucky? But I think being a host to creation like this is just one of the most beautiful things you could have happen in your garden. And off they go. When we first had them, they were so little they could not get out of the pool, and look at that, they can jump out now, growing every day. Let's have a little tour update. We have our potatoes in their pots ready to get a little bit more backfill. Bush beans, beans galore running down our fence, and more potatoes. Things have just gone crazy. Our asparagus bed, look at those incredible marigolds. We've let some asparagus ferns kind of grow a bit. I've got a bean that's just popped up here. Ignore all these blue wires. They have been keeping the garden going though. Cosmos, cornflowers. We've been harvesting strawberries every day and tomatoes every day. Coming back this way, the parsley's almost fully in flower. Remember that mint garden I made? Well, look at that, going gangbusters. More potatoes heading up the side here. And our corn bed. The corn that I put in by seed is actually now bigger and stronger than the corn that I bought as a seedling, which I suppose just goes to show buying certain varieties, perhaps more heritage style varieties, may be better in the long run, even though getting seedlings is a bit faster. Dahlias. So Daisy, you okay? You fell down.
Oh, strawberries.
Think we'll find some strawberries?
Okay.
So these are the corn that we bought as seedlings. We need to do a bit more self-pollinating because this one here appears to have perhaps formed, but our other ones, which we didn't pay much attention to, they look a little bit sad. Perhaps they didn't self-fertilize as well as we had hoped. We did do a little bit of research with corn, and you're meant to take the male part just here and dust it over the female part just here. And apparently each one of these tendrils goes to a different little kernel of corn. And if not every single one of those is fertilized by the male part, well, you won't have a full cob of corn develop. Which is just crazy when you think about it. Look how many tendrils. There's probably a more scientific name, but just look how many there are.
Outside.
Over in our tomato bed, look how tall they've gotten. They've well and truly outgrown their trellises that we made. We've been harvesting tomatoes every day. I'd say about a third of them literally have a caterpillar in them when I pick them, which is a little bit sad, but I guess that's just organic growing. If you have a look here, perhaps I shouldn't have left them here, but I've had to toss a few as I picked a few. But I'd say we've harvested 2/3, which, you know, that's enough for our little family. And in here we actually have a watermelon vine. We've got a pumpkin vine coming across here. And then look at our zucchini bed. It has just been completely taken over. In fact, I think I need to get in a little bit and allow some light in, and for pollinators to be able to find our flowers. I also need to be able to get in without getting my arms scratched to harvest the zucchinis, because at the moment I can't even get in there. Amazing. A pumpkin has taken over our little teepee. Look at it. It looks wild. It could be a jungle. Perhaps go back to our last video and see what was going on compared to now. It's just crazy. So we're going on the hunt for really our first harvest of beans. So come on, we've got a container and we've got some scissors. Yeah, come on, we've got to find the beans. And we're going to start here with, I think this was our Blue Lake bush bean variety. And you can see just here, we've got some beautiful beans ready to go. I have found that the bush beans have created beans far more quickly than our climbing beans. And perhaps that's because the climbing beans are putting energy into growing the vine first, and then they'll go to flower. Whereas the bush beans kind of had flowers within a very short period of time and have grown beans. So let's get in to find some beans with me.
Okay.
Let's go and find some beans.
Scissors.
We need the scissors. We just harvested our first huge harvest of Blue Lake bush beans. And we have another variety of bush bean here. I can't remember the name of it. It's definitely in a few videos ago, but I'll add the name in production. It's taken a lot longer. It has the most beautiful purple flowers, but there are now finally some little beans starting to emerge, so it will be interesting to see how big they actually get. They look like they start green and they go more of a purple as they get bigger. Yeah, we've had lots of flowers. Whether the pollinators just start making it, I don't know, but it hasn't been as prolific as the Blue Lake bush beans. So I'm leaving this one. So just down here, I think my daughter happened to steal my bean packet and dropped a few as she was walking around the garden, and I've just let this one here, straight out of the pebbles, grow. I think this is a Cherokee wax, and the beans actually get like a yellow look to them. So I might get her to pick the first one. Can you pick this bean for Mama? You get that for me, that big yellow one. Can you pull it off? Oh, wow.
Great.
You put it in. Nice one. All right, let's go and find more beans. Good job. Carry it, okay. In amongst the corn, I did plant some more Cherokee wax. I think they're Cherokee wax. I'll get the name right in a minute. There we go. There's a yellow bean. So we're going to have a look in here and have a harvest, and I'll show you what we come up with. So we've harvested our beans. In terms of perhaps early season, I'm not sure, but the Blue Lake bush bean has been most prolific. Then our Cherokee wax. I'm also experimenting with whether they taste nicer when they've gotten larger or at their younger age. And then I suppose we'll just have to wait and see with the other varieties. They may be just as prolific, but it just taking a little bit longer. So we'll just have to wait and see. Meanwhile, we're going to make a tomato and bean salad. Yum. Okay, it's time to tackle the zucchini bed. The ones that I think have gone crazy at the front here are zucchini Lebanese, which I bought as a seedling. Now I can't even get my arms in there without them being scratched. So I've gloved up and I've got some long sleeves on. First thing I'm going to look for is a zucchini. Then I might have to get in and do a bit of thinning out of these leaves. I mean, I don't know if that's the right thing to do, but at this stage, I don't think there's enough air getting in. I'm worried about mildew. So I'll let you know what I find. All right, so I have been known in the past to have a bit of an issue with pruning and controlling myself. So imagine the bed that you saw before, and this is what we've ended up with. A bit different. I had to fully glove up and everything, as I said before, and really get in and figure out what was going on in here. And when you think about it, for all that greenery, to not have harvested a single zucchini, something was not right. One, I wasn't dedicating enough time out here, but two, I think so much energy was going into the leaves. It was blocking out access for any beneficial insects. It was, just channeling energy in totally the wrong spots. I found so much end rot because of probably a lot of rain that we've had, but I also just found so many unfertilized fruits that were just falling off. And I think this should help. Any leaves that I saw with any form of powdery mildew, I've gotten rid of. Any that were slightly damaged or touching the ground too much, making a little pathway for anything I don't want getting into the plants, I removed. And now I'm hoping insects can see the flowers and really start to produce some edible things. I may have done the wrong thing. I may have exposed things way too much to summer sun, and I may regret that. I may have taken away too much of the foliage, and that could affect water storage. I mean, I'm not an expert. I just saw that what was happening was not working, so I'm trying something. It also allows me to now start to put in some things in these gaps that were just covered by leaves before. So I could maybe start to put in some just quick batches of lettuce, even more flowers and things can go in. So what I've discovered is I have 1 zucchini, 2 zucchinis, 3 down here, 4 at the back, and 5, 6 here. That were, I think more the ones on this side were from seedling Lebanese that have the lighter green fruit, and you can see some developing in there, which is good. And then over this way, this crazy looking one here is actually from seed. And I have a feeling this one was from seed, but I can't remember exactly. I have to look at my chart. And then it also allowed me to open up to the pumpkins a little bit. A few pumpkin leaves had some powdery mildew, so I've removed those. This is just a freeloading pumpkin here, and I'm allowing it to trail up this way. It's heading over here. These two in here are actually a golden nugget variety. And if I take you around the back, I can actually see where some little golden nuggets are starting to grow, which is exciting. I'm getting something after all this time. And you can see just in here, hopefully, they have been fertilized and we're going to have a few pumpkins there. But I've got hope because there are still heaps of flowers in here. And I'm allowing this one, which is another variety I can't quite remember the name of, to trail up and over here. Now you can actually see my dahlias, which is exciting. So yeah, I've just come in and cut off anything that was showing signs of disease, dead. I've cut off any rotting fruit. I think zucchinis are fruit, I'm not actually sure. So we can see here we've got some promising options. That one doesn't look so good, but I'm going to leave it for a bit. Probably my best one is just tucked away in here. And I'm going to harvest sooner rather than later, just to prevent anything else getting to it before I do. Anyway, it's a bit of a different look now, and I'm going to move on to some other beds for some maintenance. Okay, so I've taken off these little cage systems that I made. They were just to prevent birds from getting in. And I've just trimmed off any parts of my little fountain tomatoes that were touching the ground too much or looked a little bit diseased. I mean, this one's not looking too crash hot anymore, but we'll see what we can do. This one here's still got quite a lot of fruit to ripen. So yeah, I've just given those a tidy up. And now I'm heading around to my 2 larger tomatoes. And I'm going to allow the air and light to get in a little bit more. I've just already started down the bottom here, just trimming off anything that's touching the ground or looks a little bit questionable. Hopefully just to extend the growing season for these guys. I'll show you an after look in a minute. A lot of afternoons our girls get a bit cranky because some other little ones come to have some food. They're just so beautiful, and Mummy watches them and they can still fit through the fence. Some are having a little bit of trouble squeezing through now. They're so cute. How could we not let them? Thanks for watching our first summer video of Lilly Pilly Patch. Stay tuned for the next one, which will be out soon. Bye!